Hey everybody, we're going to look at sculpture again today. There's just something that came up with one of the comments about turning sculpture into a vocoder. And while it isn't exactly a vocoder, it certainly is very close and the principles are very similar. So here's how we do this. First of all, we're going to be using the sidechain here at the top, and then we're going to use one of our objects. Now the instrument track itself has MIDI and it has sculpture load. I put a limiter on it because this is something where if you're not careful, you can definitely shoot it too loud. But I have this really simple audio thing recorded. Let me turn on the output for this so you can hear it. I have it turned off so you don't hear that when we're doing it. But here's what the original sounds like. I wouldn't mind. Okay, so just a really simple part. I'm going to turn the output back off. And then I have my instrument track with sculpture and a little bit of MIDI, just like a chord held. And then in my sidechain, I have audio 1 selected. Now, audio 1 refers to this here. If we were to actually come through and change this to the Vox, we could come back. And you're going to see it says Vox there now. Just like that. Okay, so that's the basic signal flow for this. Inside sculpture itself, we're just going to be using object 2 right now because when we have a sidechain active, one of the options in object 2 becomes external. And so external means that it's going to be feeding off of that sidechain. Now, primarily this is a level thing. So it's a level of the sidechain is going to be what's activating the string. However, when you're using it like this just by itself, it's also activating that string based on the timbre and the pitch of the sidechain as well. And you can change some of that here with our knobs around the edges. In the actual help file, what you're going to see, let's go in there for a moment. This is listed under the Sculpture Excite table for objects 1 and 2 at the bottom. External, available only for object 2, feeds the sidechain signal level into string. The first one is the cutoff frequency of the low-pass filter being used to process sidechain signal. That's the first. And then the width, the size of the string area being affected by the sidechain signal. So we have just basic controls there. In the end, I find that this one works best all the way up, unless we want to really muffle it. And then this one does less, but I have kind of set on this spot right here. And then this is going to do the overall strength. So you don't want to blow things out. I keep it almost halfway, just a little bit past. The next thing would be to look at the media loss. So I'm going to turn the media loss up really high right now because that'll give us a little bit more of just the original signal without any of the other pieces here coming into play. But you can see I've got the wave shaper turned on, the delay turned on, the body EQ turned on. And so all of those then are manipulating the sound. I'm starting with this down here in the steel corner. So let's push play and just listen right as is. I won't tweak anything this time. I did tweak a little bit. But you can hear that original vocal part coming through just a little bit now. And as we adjust this, it's going to change the overall amount of the material as it's activated. So you can hear everything I'm doing here is changing, and the voice then is activating it differently. So the material itself is changing. The voice, as it comes in as that external feed, is then activating this string model in a different way because all of the parameters are different around it. So this is a super cool way to meld the voice or any other instrument or whatever else into the sculpture workflow. And then we can manipulate all the pieces in here and come up with some really cool sounds and things like that. We have a really decent modulation section down here. However, I still find myself more often than not now coming back up into our MIDI effects and using the modulator instead, because I just like how this is functioning, and it's a little bit different than the teeny screen and some of the limitations we have down in our modulation section there. So, for instance, if I wanted to actually change, for instance, where object 2 is on the string, or if I wanted to manipulate the two different pickups here, yes, I could do it down here, but I could also come up and let's just learn plugin parameter number 2. And now how cool is that to be able to mix now all of these different elements using the cool sculpture engine, which is so powerful and can do so much. I'm going to get more into this on my own to really see where we can push the boundaries with this. And I do want to thank Marcus Cruz, who originally made a comment on one of my videos earlier and pointed this out and pointed me to a different video where this was being demonstrated. This is not a new feature in Sculpture. It's been around for a while. It's just something that I had never really thought about using in this way as a vocoder style processor. So cool, so powerful. Definitely check it out and start using it for this reason.